So, to get things started, I of course put my base coat on all of my fingers. And then with my Elmer's, I did it on my thumb, middle, and pinky fingers on both hands. And here is the Sally Hansen Magical. This one is in Crystal Ball, and I apply that to the pointer finger and the ring finger. So that's why I didn't put the Elmer's glue on there. Oh, these are some of my favorite polishes ever, and I don't use them nearly enough. Now for the thumb and middle and pinky, I'm going to use Mystical Mandarin and Purple Potion for a sponge gradient. And of course I'll cut off the top of my sponge that I used in the last time. And then I'm just going to paint them on in 2 stripes, and I'm going to keep the purple on the bottom and the orange on the top. And it's dried out. So before we get into the actual nail art, I just wanted to digress a little bit. So this Sally Hansen magical, or something magical series, I had gotten one bottle when it first came out years and years ago at CVS, and then they disappeared. It was a seasonal thing, and it was gone. And they're amazing. It's like a 2-coat, super holographic. They're beautiful in the sunlight. Excuse me. And fast forward a couple years, and the Christmas tree shops near my house had these random, like, vinyl Ziploc bags, or zipper bags, not Ziploc, but they were filled with nail polish, like 8 bottles or something, and I saw that they had some of the magic ones in there, so I snagged one. Went back later, and I was like, I'll get some more. Except people had, like, gone through them, like, broken the little, plastic tie thingy that they poke in there, and opened it, and so some bags had 4 bottles, some bags had 10 bottles. So I just sat there, I had nowhere else to be, and went through and found one of every color that I could in that series, and made my own mix. And I think they were like $2 or $3 for the whole thing. So I got like 8 bottles, and then I got a couple extras. There were some cool colors, so I got some duplicates, and that saved me in this video, because the Purple Potion and Mandarin Magic, or Magical Mandarin, Mystical Mandarin, those are 2 of my favorites. And luckily, because one of the Purple Potion had dried out, I had another one. So yeah, that's just backstory, and let's get back to it. And we're back with the second bottle. Thank goodness I had another. So I just reapplied the orange to refresh it, and then went back over with the purple. And just gently rolled and then stamped. These polishes aren't thick, so they tend to pick up kind of easily. So you have to be very gentle. Then I just move on and do the ring and the pinky. So here we are all done now, and I'm actually just going to use my micro dotting tool to lift up the Elmer's glue. I just wanted to show you the cleanup, and it comes off really nicely. There's some still in the tiny crevices, but that doesn't bother me if you have watched my other videos. This is my skull stamp that I'm going to do a multicolor decal of. And we'll start with the Conad Black stamping polish. I found them, so I'm going to use them. I haven't used them in a while. And scrape. Sometimes I do double scrape, even though I've heard you shouldn't. And then I also just use the scraper to get up any extra polish that I don't want on the stamper. So while the stamp dries, I put on a coat of Such Beat on all the other nails. And now I'll take the crystal ball, and I was going to paint it on with a brush and then decided that was labor intensive and it's such a big design, I just went straight in with the polish brush. Even though I did get a little sloppy, it didn't show up too much. At this point I used the micro dotting tool to try and pick up some of the mess, and it actually wound up lifting up part of the stamp, so I will never ever ever try that again. Next I move on to the spider decal, and I actually neglected to realize that I still had the skull on the stamper, and I don't have another Conad stamper that I like. So I had to clean it off and just wait for the skull to dry. So now I'm just going to cover the entire skull and overlap or go outside the line a little bit with the Such Beat to seal it all together and make one decal. It'll make it a little thicker and a little sturdier. So now it's dry, and I'm going to gently lift the edge so that I can peel it off. Some people put the decal straight onto their nail, but I try to let it dry a little more on the top side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a coat of the Such Beat on my thumb, all over the place because it's about the size of my entire nail, and just get it into place, trying not to move it too much because it will kind of disintegrate a little bit if you mess around too much. So just get it on, and then I put another coat on top after all the edges are sealed to get it to stick really good. And just like when you apply top coat to any other stamped image, you want it to be nice and quick and not drag, because essentially the top is still a fresh stamp and it can drag. And now finally back to that spider, and again cleaning off the extra with the scraper. This one goes on with pretty much without incident. A little off center, but that's okay. Now with the white Conad stamping polish, I'm going to do this little ghost here. Came from a random multi-plate that I got in a set from Five Below. Next up I have this Belmort design that I thought was super pretty. It's kind of big for my nail, so I'm just aiming to get the skeleton girl in the middle. So of course again I'm scraping off the frame to clean it up because my nails are kind of too small for that right now. And I actually got it pretty dead on center, which was awesome. Next up I wanted to do like a bloody handprint on one of the crystal ball nails, so I used my red Conad stamping polish. I haven't used it in a while, but it seems to work pretty good on light bases. And of course the one time I don't double scrape, it turns out terrible. It's just a red blob, and I was seriously not happy. So at that point I was really irritated because it was going so nicely, so I just decided to fast forward and show you the final product after I finished fixing that nail. So here's the final product. This is my multicolored stamp. There was some smudging, but it looks good. Balmort came out awesome, and the spider and the bloody hand after I fixed it looks much, much better. And the little tiny ghost, it's pretty cute. And all in all, I like that it's like girly colors underneath and then like scary things on top. So it's a nice mishmash, and yeah, I'm happy how it came out. So as always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and who knows what will I do next.